I'm Dr. Kimberly Underwood, and today I'm the face of America. My parents taught me that life's not always fair. And being a woman of color, and at that time a child of color, understanding my place in this world and the things that I would need to overcome in order to be a productive citizen. And one of the lessons was always that life's not fair, but you figure out a way to overcome. I'm Kimberly Underwood, Dr. Kimberly Underwood, with the University of Phoenix, and I run a research center on workplace diversity and inclusion research. And I'm here today to talk about some really interesting research that we've done lately, and very important research around Black male educators, and I should say the lack of Black male educators in pre-K through 12 classrooms. And so we're specifically trying to rejuvenate the conversation around Black male teachers and the need for Black male teachers in today's classrooms. If you really look at the statistics right now, people of color only make up around 20% of all teachers in today's classrooms. And when you break that down and look at Black males, it's 2%. And so I'm not surprised, simply for the fact that when we go back in history, when we look at this issue from a social justice lens, it's not surprising at all. And so therefore, one of the things that we wrote about in our paper was the Leaky classroom pipeline. And that pipeline from bringing Black boys through the system of education in order to getting them to the classroom as teachers. I mean, they experience so many things that are not fair, that are unjust. And so really thinking about, how do we sit here and how do we overcome them in order to create a better pathway and a smoother pathway for Black males to say, hey, first and foremost, I see people that look like me in the classroom. I see Black men teaching, and therefore this is something that I can envision as something that I want to do. But when it's only 2% and you don't see someone that looks like you, it's hard to envision being in that position. How do we get more Black males in the classroom? That's a good question. And first and foremost, when you look at those numbers year by year, it's still decreasing, and it may not be a full percentage, but the number's still decreasing. And so we're still losing Black men in the classroom. And so the many efforts that are out there, whether we're talking about alternative certification, whether we're talking about grassroots efforts, it's not enough. And there are good efforts out there, but they're still keeping that number steady right around 2%. And so we really need to think about, what is that plan to get Black males into the classroom? When you think about low pay, when you think about issues around, being a teacher and coming in and having to take on multiple roles. One of the things that we found within our study was that, and in talking to the Instoy fellows, and I guess I should preface this by saying that this was a collaboration with the National Network of State Teachers of the Year, and we were able to talk to and support the fellows within their program, and they really gave some pivotal pieces of valuable insight into what it meant to be a Black male teacher. And so they talked about having, multiple roles. Not only am I a teacher, but I'm also the disciplinarian. I'm also the mentor. I'm also the tutor. And so then I'm also being assigned to do, coaching and be the coach. And so therefore, it's so many expectations that I think other people may not have, that Black males tend to have to encounter. And so it really goes back to, really thinking about this from 3 different perspectives. First and foremost, the actual recruitment piece of it. How do you recruit Black men into the profession? The retention piece of it. Once they get in the classroom, how do you make it a place where Black men want to stay? And then the advancement piece. Are Black men then pigeonholed into certain positions, or are they put in leadership positions where they are able to effectively change the system at a higher level? For Black male youth, and really thinking about it, there are 3 schools of thoughts around this. Black men are needed, to educate, and they better educate children of color. And then there's also the school of thought that Black men are needed specifically to educate Black males, and they've seen some gains in the research around that. And then this 3rd school of thought is that Black men are needed for all students, because we benefit from seeing diversity and being and learning in diverse spaces at such a crucial time of development as a child. When you see diversity, when it counters the negative things that you see, and it helps you to develop, as this culturally competent person. Those are the 3 schools of thought. And I don't necessarily subscribe to any one particularly, simply for the fact that all 3 cover the main issue. Black males are needed in today's classroom, all classrooms, all school systems. We have to start working on diversifying education.